Welcome to the Take Action podcast, where we empower communication partners to feel confident with AAC. I am Lauren Greenleaf, a certified speech-language pathologist with nearly a decade of experience in AAC. Join us weekly as we dive into all of the aspects of AAC and hear from communication partners just like you who are successfully integrating AAC into their daily lives. Whether you are an SLP, a parent, an educator, or any other communication partner, you are absolutely in the right place if you are ready to take actionable steps towards AAC success today.
Welcome back to the Take Action podcast. I am so excited to have our guest Kyanne here with us. Kyanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She is an SLP and co-founder of WeaveChat. So we're going to be talking all about WeaveChat AAC today. So Kyanne, can you tell us just a little bit about what WeaveChat actually is?
Yeah, so WeaveChat AAC is a mostly category-based AAC app that is completely free and can be accessed on iOS, Android, and Kindle devices, both tablets and phones.
Love it. And that is why I'm so excited to have you here, because AAC is difficult to access for many, and you guys are creating this wonderful app that has so much in it, which we're going to get to in a little bit, but it's really a robust option for individuals to communicate. And you put it on all of the devices, which is huge because so frequently we only have really, really good iOS ones. There are a few Android and Amazon tablet ones, but they're harder to find. So if you could start, tell us a little bit about, you're an SLP, so what was your journey to AAC? How did we end up here?
Okay. Well, thank you. I didn't always plan on working with AAC. In grad school, I totally thought I was going to go the adult route and do like aphasia and dysphagia. But then my clinical fellowship was in a school, and I just kind of ended up in an elementary school, and that's where I work now during the day. I call it my day job. WeaveChat is my rest of my job.
I love it.
So it's the summertime now, and I get to put a lot more time into WeaveChat right now. But during the school year, I work in a combined middle school, elementary school, where I mostly work with minimally speaking and non-speaking students, which has really thrown me into the AAC side of our profession.
Absolutely. So a question I get all the time and is kind of how you got into AAC. So like you were thrown into it, but how do you feel like you navigated it once you were thrown into it? Because that seems to be a really common thread with almost every SLP that I talk to is like, we were just thrown in and we made it work. But people love to know like where you started to make it work or how you started to make it work.
Yeah. So I actually work in Baltimore City Public Schools. So they have their own core board. And so that was really my first introduction, was the paper-based core board. And, I carry it around with me all throughout my day, both in like the little version that like goes on my lanyard and like a 8x11 paper one. And then my very first year working there, I had a student, and I knew he would thrive with something more than this paper-based board. So I was able to get him a device, and he tried TouchChat and he tried LAMP, but the process to get that device was months, and that was a little bit annoying. But he did end up doing fabulous with LAMP. But that kind of just showed me what AAC could do. And then the pandemic happened, and all of my students couldn't communicate like outside of their immediate household. And that's really how this all got started.
Okay. Awesome. So with that, like what was the big drive to start WeaveChat AAC? So obviously like kids needed a voice to communicate, but this is like a groundbreaking idea. All of the apps out there that are robust have a pretty hefty price tag on them. So what was the drive? What created it?
So I'm a speech therapist and my co-founder is an engineer. And like I was saying, most of my students are minimally speaking or non-speaking. And so when the pandemic happened, you and I can communicate with our people pretty easily. We could text them, we could call them, but they couldn't do that. And they were very much isolated in their home. And so originally WeaveChat started as WeaveChat Messenger and it has become WeaveChat AAC. But originally it was just a way for people who couldn't communicate in, say, our traditional sense, could communicate using picture symbols in individual and group messaging. And that actually still exists within the app. And I think it's the only app that allows you to do that. And then because I am an SLP and the co-founder is an engineer, there are no costs for us outside of maintaining the app. We both have day jobs, as I call them. And so we're paying for the app right now.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a really cool feature that you guys can like text and message with the symbols. And I think you might be right. I think it is the only one out there. And they can connect to
You can
phones
share
and messaging and you can share stuff, but I don't know that it can truly like do the messaging piece like you guys have in there. So what are some of the other features? Like, so when you're an SLP or even a parent looking to get a device, you're going through like that feature matching process essentially, which is this really long list of possibilities that come in an app. So we could spend the next 40 minutes talking about all of those, but could you give us some highlights, some things that you know like people are looking for, people would want to know a little bit more about?
Yeah, definitely. So like when I'm looking at an AAC app, I want to make sure that you can customize it to the user. So we've tried really hard to make sure that WeaveChat AAC is super customizable. Um, we start off with the default board, which is scrolling and it's very phone based and very phone ready. But we also offer 12 other versions starting at 2 buttons all the way up to 105 buttons. And then you might be like, oh, well, I'm a speller. So then you need something with a keyboard on it. So one of our bigger boards has a full QWERTY board on it. And then, you want to add pictures that resound with the person using it. So you can add your own buttons, you can add your own categories, you can hide buttons, you can move things around if you need to. And then I talked to a lot of SLPs that were talking about Gestalt language processors and how it's really nice to be able to record to a button. So you can record to any button for up to 30 seconds right now. So you can add things to it that are resounding with the person that's using it.
That's really awesome. I love that. And I love to, we talked a little bit about it before we actually started recording, but you guys are constantly adding new things, which is fantastic and phenomenal. One of the other things, I'm pretty sure you guys have a phrases location too, right? Does it pop up like phrases?
Yeah, so we have a phrases section. It's different than I would say most other apps have it, where it's like not on the board. It's like we said, it's designed to be able to use on a phone easily. So the phrases is at the bottom of the page, and you can add phrases using text or the buttons to create longer sentences that are easily accessible. And you can access that from anywhere on the board.
Love it. There's so much cool stuff, and I, in my exploration of it, have found it very easy to navigate through. I work in categories, like my brain processes categories pretty easily, and I can honestly tell you, like, I picked it up one day and was like, oh, I don't have anything else with me, so we're going to use this today. And within like minutes, I was like, okay, I could make these 6 phrases, and it was very seamless and easy to do. And you do have a search feature on there also.
Yes, we have a search feature and a keyboard. So The search feature will, if you type in a word, it'll like make the background of everything else kind of transparent-esque, and then highlight in red the button you're looking for. And then it'll show you the path to get there. So I don't know, if you wanted coffee, you would have to go to food and drinks, and it would show you how to get there. I think, if it's okay, I want to tell you one of the reasons I think the app is the coolest part.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Tell me.
Okay. So I think because it's just the two of us, and we talk to users all the time, and we talk to professionals in the field, and we've been able to take what people want right into account. And I know you were saying that we update it all the time, and we do. um, but like that, a bit like the ability to share pictures outside of our app is directly because somebody asked for it. We had a user that wanted to use it on Discord, and he was like, "Hey, can you make it possible so that I can use these sentences and put them into Discord?" And so that's how that happened, and that's happened all across the app. And um, so many of the things, either the wording that's used or how the functionality is designed, is because somebody was like, "Hey, this would be really useful." And I think that's really helped it become what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I truly feel that that is a huge benefit to it. Um, in that you guys are so easily able to make those adjustments because it is kind of just you and your co-founder right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's an easier process than like some of those big companies where you get to talk to somebody, but then they have to go to like 7 other people before they even get to the developers that could make those changes. So
Yeah, there's no
it
chain of
definitely,
command here.
yeah, no chain of command, which is perfect. So enlighten us a little bit. What does the future look like for WeaveChat? I follow you guys on social, which we'll tell everybody about in a little bit. So I know there's
Okay.
a lot of really awesome stuff coming.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about the next year. We're currently working to make the app multilingual. And the only way we're able to do that is because we have dozens of volunteers who are helping to translate the app to other languages. Um, and so we currently have Castilian Spanish translated fully, we have Vietnamese fully translated, and we have Macedonian fully translated. But we have so many other languages that are almost finished or partially finished right now. So it's really, really exciting. Um, and I did mention that the app is free and that we are supporting it right now, but we know that that's not sustainable long term. We want this app to be around for generations, which means it has to last longer than us. So we want to create a way to fund the app that doesn't charge the app. So we are currently working to, we're starting to implement it now, um, to provide trainings that you can pay for, and um, different um, materials that aren't the app. And then we're planning also on creating an additional software that's paid for. But the goal is to always keep this app free. And so we just have to have some other things to help do that. And then like ultimately, you know, our like long-term future goal is to not only be like the best free AAC app, but also be one of the best AAC apps that just happens to be free. And so everything we're doing is towards that idea.
Yes. And you guys are totally hitting the nail on the head. And
Thank you.
in so many ways too, though, because you really do listen. Like I've seen it firsthand. I've been in the Facebook group and watched someone ask a question, and then like weeks later, you're like, here it is. The
Yes.
changes are made. And you have such a wonderful community of speech therapists and AAC users and parents. You're getting perspectives from everybody, and I think that's an important component, especially as a fellow SLP. We have a tendency to dominate the conversation when we really shouldn't be the ones dominating the conversation because we're not the ones using it every day to communicate.
I agree
So
100%.
the conversation, the Discord conversation, I love it. My husband uses Discord, so I actually know what that is. But I was like, that makes so much sense. Like that's something I would have never, it would have never crossed my mind, and I don't think it would have crossed a lot of SLPs' minds, depending on obviously the population you're working with. But
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have an AAC user come straight to you and say, this is something we really want to see. How can we make this happen? And you guys being able to make it happen is wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's one of the coolest part about doing this.
Yeah. So it will be a multilingual app, which is super exciting. Right now, is it just direct access?
Yes, but
Okay.
we have tested it with switches and it does work.
Okay. So you can use switches too. Awesome. That is really cool. I'm trying to think of anything else that people might like really, really want to know. You have a robust grid size option. You guys have lots of vocabulary on there.
And we're
Different apps.
adding more every day.
I love
Um,
it.
I draw it, so that's my goal this summer is to get it up to over 3,000 words.
Oh, that would be awesome. That is,
Yeah.
I love that goal. And I love that number of words.
The
And now
SLP in me.
I know now I'm super impressed too that you draw it all by yourself. I wondered where your symbols came from, and that was going to be one of my questions. So you draw everything yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. That is really cool and really unique. You guys, there's so much uniqueness in this app, and I think that's part of why I love it. And it's genuinely coming from a place of giving. Like you want people to access communication, and you're not in it for anything other than the joy of giving thousands of people communication, and it's really important. And obviously you do have to fund it at some point. So we were going to circle back to that because free is wonderful, but there's a lot that comes to maintaining an app in general, and you and your co-founder can do it, like you said, for a while, but not forever. But you're gonna do it as long as you can, I bet.
Yes.
So while you guys get some of those things up and running, like the resources and the trainings and different things like that, I'm anxious to hear about the other app that's coming too. How else can people support you?
Yeah, so there are so many ways that we can be supported, and some of them are completely free. If you use the app, review the app. It can be reviewed on Google, Apple, and the Amazon app stores. You can follow us on social media, so that's at WeaveChat AAC, and we're on. We most commonly post on Facebook and Instagram, but we just started a Threads as well. And then, talk about the app. If you like the app and you want to teach somebody about it, teach them about it. If they have questions, send them our way. I have no problem chatting with people. And then, if you have a lot of time and you speak another language, if you want to help translate, if you have money and you want to help us, you can donate. We have a donation button on our website, as well as selling some merchandise. I'm actually wearing a shirt right now that says everyone should be able to communicate. So the shirt is on the website as well. And then, I make playground boards. I give them out for free. But most people give a donation for them after they get it. But I customize the playground words to your playground, so you have the proper ones. So, if there's a school or a park near you and you need a playground board, let us know. And then, in the vein of, creating something that is sustainable, if you know anybody that wants to purchase a training, I will be the one providing the training. And that is the way to sustainably support it going forward.
Awesome. Super. Lots of opportunities there. So I always love giving some free opportunities because that's always helpful too. As a person, another small business owner, just somebody like even coming into your world is huge in regards to supporting a business. So anybody who's not in
100%.
the small business world, just hit that follow button. It makes a really big difference for us.
It
Same with the
does.
reviews, because then that ranks you higher and people find you faster. So
Hmm.
never hurts there. And we will definitely make sure we link to the website below so people know where that donation link is, and where they can get some of that merch.
Hmm.
Training wise, are your trainings like one on one? Are they group? Are they recorded? Do you guys have a plan yet?
Currently they've been one me and like one to two other people. But
Mm-hmm.
I recently did a full training for a school in Alberta, Canada, so that was really cool.
Awesome.
And I have a few more scheduled throughout the summer, and one of them's in person in Philly because I can drive there. Um,
I love
but lately I just do them in the evenings, um, and I've just been talking one on one with an SLP or a caregiver. Um, or actually, I've had a few users actually, which has been really fun because I get a lot more information that way from
oh,
them.
absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
that's really
yeah.
fun.
So if you
Um,
want one of those, that's you just email us. That's you know.
okay, perfect. The other thing I wanted to mention too, correct me if I'm wrong, but the app itself has a lot of training with it, right? There's
It
different.
does. So
Go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
if you open the app, you will default to the thread screen, which is where you can have messages. But in the upper left-hand corner is a little eye, and that's an info button. And in there are all of our frequently asked questions and the answers that go, as well as some videos and how-to videos that I've posted that you can look at.
Yeah, great. And I think that's another really important component. We've had a couple chats on and do have a couple chats planned, from parents that were kind of even talking like, we just get these apps and then we don't really know what to do with them. So you guys have started to solve that problem within the app itself. You don't even have to leave the app to go find it somewhere else. It's right there and easy to search and easy to find and easy to support.
Yeah, it's right there. All those videos are on YouTube as well. And then there's actually a user manual on our website that I've gone through the entire app and taken screenshots and showed you exactly how to do everything. And then there's a support thread in the app, so you can message support right through the app. That's me, actually. So if you need any questions, you can ask me.
I love it. Someone wears a lot of hats. But it's good. It's great, and I can't wait to see this just like get into the hands of more people, because you guys are really, you're really changing the game here, and in such a positive way. Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So as an SLP yourself, what is kind of your advice for people when they do get this app? And let's start with WeaveChat AAC. I mean, technically, it could apply to all, but where is your starting point for them? Like, where do you tell everybody to get started or how to get started?
Yeah, no. This is something I've tried to figure out for years now. Um, I know that AAC can be daunting. It's a whole new language. Um, and so I like to always acknowledge that. I like to acknowledge that it can be difficult. I like to acknowledge that it can be daunting. And then I read somewhere, I don't know where I read it now, but I read it somewhere that one of the easiest ways for a parent to become familiar with an AAC device is to borrow it when their child is asleep. So once you put your child to bed, borrow their device and explore it because your child is exploring that device. And we often call that babbling, right? We see them pushing all the buttons, trying all the things. But
Yeah.
as the adult that's supporting it, we have to do that too. So I would say put your child to bed, borrow their device, play around with a little, and then give yourself a goal and you can build on that goal. So I like to tell parents to pick one event to start with. Maybe it's getting dressed in the morning, and then model words that go with that. So if we're getting dressed, we can model put on, we can model take off, and we can model our clothing. And then as you become more comfortable, you can add another event. So maybe you start doing getting dressed and breakfast. and then you can just add on as you become more comfortable. And then it's not such a daunting task, and everyone's happier.
Yes. And as a parent, I feel that to my core. It's every time I hear like you have to model all day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm lucky. Like everybody brushed their teeth and combed their hair and got shoes on before we even left the house. Like picking
Yes.
that one easy, manageable activity. And
Mm-hmm.
usually to just add like the slightest bit, it's usually the time that people are regulated. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
the time when somebody is like screaming because they're hungry. It's like that well regulated, calm time. Pick that
Mm-hmm.
and then build from there.
Exactly. I completely agree. We're not learning new things if we're dysregulated.
No, never, never. So, that kind of wraps up most of the questions we had. Is there anything else that you want to share about WeaveChat with us?
Well, I would really like to just thank everyone that's really supported us. Um, it sounds like you've been around for a long time, and we started this in 2020, so it's not that old. But the the support and the outpouring of the community, and fellow speech therapists has been truly amazing and totally made this possible. And so I just want to thank everybody.
Absolutely. I am happy to be here. I'm so happy we got to chat, and I'm hoping that there are a bunch of people listening that haven't heard of it and are going to go download it and start to use it right away. Um, to kind of circle back to the support you guys needed, is there any specific languages you guys need right now that you want
Yes.
to put out in the world?
Yes. We are about halfway translated for Tagalog, so we need about 1,000 words translated, and we're really trying to do languages that don't have any other AAC options. One of those options is Haitian Creole that we're actively trying to recruit for right now. But if there's any other languages that you guys know don't exist in other AAC apps and you're willing to help translate them, please let us know. Like, that's where the need is. And so help us help you.
Yes. And I see that question so frequently, like, do you have an app that has this language? And so often there isn't an answer because
Yeah.
we have these pretty standard ones. And then there are a few apps that have a lot in them.
Mhm.
But even just a couple that you mentioned, like those are unique, different ones that there's not a lot out there. So um, awesome. Well, we'll put that out there and we'll make sure everybody starts following you. So where can they find you?
They can find us on Instagram and Facebook and Threads at WeaveChat AAC.
Awesome. And then Facebook, you guys get a lot of people posting on there about things that they want or things that they love about it. So that's a good place to go to if they don't want to email you personally to let
Yes,
you
there's
know.
a Facebook community, actually. It's
Okay.
called the WeaveChat AAC community, and that's where we get a lot of people coming in and asking questions.
Okay. So you have a Facebook page and the Facebook community, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So we will make sure we link as many of those as possible, but that should be everybody's action step for today is to go follow WeaveChat AAC and go download it. And remember, you can download it on anything,
Hmm.
pretty much anything, right? I mean, at this point.
Yeah, you got your Kindles, you got your tablets, you got your phones. You can even download it on a Chromebook
Okay.
or one of the like newer Mac computers. Like if it has an M1 chip or newer, they can also handle
Okay. And I think the Chromebook is an important one too, because that's not, I've seen a lot of SLPs come back and be like, our district says it has to go on a Chromebook,
it.
which realistically is not a portable form of communication. So there is a whole discussion that needs to happen there. However, you can get something on it. So that's
Hmm.
exciting.
And you know, I mean, Kindles are a lot less expensive than a lot of other things. So being able to
Absolutely.
put it on there makes it a little bit more accessible.
Absolutely. It makes it a lot more accessible. Well, Kyanne, thank you so much for being here today. I think this was a really great chat, and I enjoyed getting to know a little bit more behind the scenes of WeaveChat AAC. And I cannot wait for all of the future updates that are coming.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me on. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Head to whatever device you are using, go download that app, take a look, check it out, and if you love it, write a review for it, and then go follow them on social media. So she had her Instagram, she had the Facebook. They also have a website where you can go check out some of their merch and different ways to support them. I'm also excited to share with you that if you are still interested in the Take Action podcast resource library, you still have access to that. And for the next month, all of the proceeds of that will be going to WeaveChat AAC to help them continue to make amazing updates and edits so that everyone has access to communication. So with that, I will see you guys next week on the Take Action podcast.